I'm Scott Spratt from Pro Football Focus, and this is another Fantasy Slant. The Carolina Panthers took a major step forward in 2013, making the playoffs for the first time with Cam Newton at quarterback and with Ron Rivera at head coach. Unfortunately, salary cap problems have caused them to have quite a bit of a tough offseason. It started with cutting franchise icon Steve Smith, who's now with the Baltimore Ravens. In addition, the team lost its second wide receiver, Brandon LaFell, to the Patriots, and third wide receiver, Ted Ginn Jr., to the Cardinals. That leaves very few pass catchers from 2013 back with the team this season. Add that to the fact that Cam Newton just had ankle surgery and could be out 3 to 4 months, missing some of the offseason preparation time that he will badly need with his new wide receivers. And you could be wondering whether Cam Newton deserves his place among the top 5 fantasy quarterbacks entering next season. There's several reasons that I think he does deserve to be back in the top 5. For one, he's overcome a lot of adversity the last few years to get to where he is and remains consistently one of the top 5 quarterbacks in fantasy. Over each of the last 2 seasons, his number of pass attention yards have declined both seasons. Last year, he threw under 3,400 yards, and that's after going over 4,000 yards in his rookie campaign 2 years ago. In addition, he had his career worst 585 rushing yards and only 6 rushing touchdowns last season. With all of that, he still finished 4th at the position in fantasy points. Part of the improvement was because of increased efficiency. He threw a career-high 24 touchdowns last season, and he's really limited the mistakes, throwing only 12 interceptions and 13 interceptions the last 2 seasons. The truth of the matter is, for the Panthers, the wide receivers don't have a lot to do with Cam's fantasy production. As a unit, the team only had 156 catches from its wide receivers last year. That's fewer than 10 a game. It's a very run-focused offense, and that works for Cam because he gets a lot of those rushing yards and touchdowns himself. Also, some of the running backs could really help Cam Newton in the passing game too. Jonathan Stewart wasn't able to play much last year because of lingering injuries, and he's had a 50-catch season in his career. Also, Kenyon Barner's entering his 2nd season and should be up for an increased workload. Combined, that's an extra probably 40 catches for the running backs. Meanwhile, tight end Greg Olsen actually led the team with 73 catches, 816 yards, and 6 touchdowns last season. He's the real number 1 on this team. Now, during the offseason, the Panthers did add a couple of no-name wide receivers, the first being Jericho Cotchery, formerly of the Steelers. He's going to turn 32 this summer, and he has never caught 50 balls in the last 5 seasons. However, he was the number 3 receiver in PFF blocking grade last season, so you can see where he'll fit in with the Panthers' run-dominated offense. Look past those 10 touchdowns he had last season, he's probably not going to be a top 40 wide receiver, even if he's the de facto number 1 receiver on the Panthers. The other player they added I'm a little bit more intrigued by, and that's Tiquan Underwood, formerly of the Buccaneers. He's younger than Cotchery at just 27 years old, but he hasn't reached 30 catches or 500 yards in a season yet in his career. Keep in mind that Cam Newton just turns 25 in a couple of months, making him a year and a half younger than Colin Kaepernick and half a year younger than Russell Wilson. In fact, he's barely even 4 months older than Andrew Luck. Newton should be in the top 5 this season and in many seasons to come, so don't get nervous because of the turbulent offseason by the Carolina Panthers. For Pro Football Focus, I'm Scott Spratt.